In this video, here's what we'll cover. Why talk therapy misses? The integrative approach. What teenagers bring? Cultural pressures. Counselor or psychologist. Many parents open the conversation the same way. My teenager is struggling, but I do not think they will actually talk to a therapist. And honestly, that makes a great deal of sense. The adolescent brain is wired for movement, experience, and social connection. It learns by doing, not by sitting quietly and reporting on itself. So when we ask a teenager to sit still, hold eye contact, and talk about their feelings for the better part of an hour, we have recreated exactly the kind of conversation they were already trying to avoid. The research is clear that the relationship, the therapeutic alliance, predicts outcomes with teenagers even more strongly than it does with adults. And it is much harder to build through question and answer alone, which means engagement has to come first. Meet a young person where they actually are, and the work becomes possible. This is not about lowering the bar, it is about delivering good, evidence-informed counseling in a form a teenager can genuinely receive. An integrative, holistic approach weaves several threads together alongside conversation, so the session is not one long interrogation, but it comes first for many teenagers. Simple, practical techniques they can use before an exam, before a difficult social moment, or when things escalate at home. Learning to steady your own nervous system is a skill that lasts. Movement matters because the adolescent body is not built to sit still. Even brief, gentle movement helps discharge the tension that makes talking so hard. And for teenagers whose sense of self is tied up in their changing bodies, it builds a kinder relationship with themselves. Creative expression offers a language for what does not yet have words. A young person who cannot describe their anxiety can often draw it, write a character who carries it, or find it in a piece of music. And then, gently, we can work with that. Narrative work invites a teenager to see themselves as the author of their own story rather than a problem to be fixed. When anxiety becomes the thing that shows up before tests, rather than who they are, something loosens. That respectful distance is where change begins. Certain themes come up again and again in this work, and naming them helps. Anxiety is the most common, and the academic pressure many young people carry now, through the HSC years and the ranking that follows, has reached a level that genuinely overwhelms them. We work on the physiology of exam stress and on a more realistic perspective about what a mark actually means for a life. Comparison is the second. Social media is not just screen time. It is constant measurement against curated highlight reels, with follower accounts standing in for worth. Counseling here builds identity anchors that do not depend on a like or a comment. Identity is the developmental heart of adolescence. Who am I? Where do I belong? What do I believe? These are not problems to solve but tasks to move through, and holistic counseling holds space for that exploration without prescribing the answer. And sleep sits underneath all of it. Poor sleep worsens anxiety, drops mood, and erodes the ability to regulate emotion. Addressing sleep, screens, and bedtime worry often brings benefits that cascade across everything else. There is a particular weight that many second-generation young people from culturally and linguistically diverse backgrounds carry, and it often goes unnamed. At home, there may be deeply held values around family, education, community, and respect for elders. At school and among friends, they meet a different set of norms around independence, relationships, and self-expression. The young person sits at the intersection of these two worlds, frequently without permission to even acknowledge the tension. To admit that one world feels more natural can risk rupture on one side and rejection on the other. That inner conflict is constant, and it is exhausting. Counseling in this space is not about superficial cultural familiarity. It is the ability to hold space for genuine ambivalence, without judgment in either direction. In my own practice, cultural safety is not an add-on. It is foundational, and it is offered in more than one language. It helps parents to understand that counselors and psychologists have different scopes of practice, and both matter. A counselor is well suited to emotional difficulties, family stress, identity work, relationship struggles, and mild to moderate low mood and worry. Counselors do not diagnose conditions. A psychologist with adolescent training is the right call when there are concerns about a diagnosable condition, when medication or psychiatric assessment may be needed, when things are severe or not shifting, or when there has been significant trauma needing specialized care. In practice, we work best as a collaborative network. If a young person's needs go beyond the scope of counseling, I will say so plainly and help with the right referral. The priority is always their well-being, never holding on to the work. And if you are not sure where to start, that is completely fine. Book an initial conversation. Tell me what has been happening and what your teenager has and has not been willing to say, and together we will find an approach they could actually engage with. You do not need to have it figured out before you reach out. That is what the first conversation is for. Before you go, here's a quick recap of what we covered. Why talk therapy misses? The integrative approach. What teenagers bring? Cultural pressures. Counselor or psychologist. And one small thing that really helps more people find this. Subscribe for weekly mental health explainers. Like this video if you found it helpful. Share it with someone who might need it.